I batch my YouTube videos every Saturday. It does not matter. I'm not meeting with anybody. It doesn't matter if my friends invite me out. Saturday is my recording time because, again, everything is a choice. And you choose whether to do it or whether not to do it. Social media is essential for real estate agents, but so many struggle to leverage it properly. And I'm going to break down the 11 things that I constantly see agents do wrong. I train thousands of agents every year to scale their business by leveraging social media, whether it be paid or organic, across all platforms. And these 11 things are what I see every single person struggling with who's not consistently getting clients coming directly to them every single month. Now, number 11 is going to be the one that brings all of this together full circle, gives you complete clarity, and makes sure that you start to execute consistently. So you want to make sure to stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's break down the 11 things that most real estate agents are doing wrong when it comes to leveraging social media for realtors. Okay, so number one is the number one reason why agents fail with anything, which is not just social media, but lead generation or just the business in general, which is mindset. It is so important to go in with the right mindset when it comes to social media. Otherwise, you're destined to fail before we've even started. When it comes to mindset, there's certain principles that you need to be aware of that are going to make sure that you go in with the right approach in order to eventually see success leveraging social media, which is hopefully clients coming directly to you on a consistent basis. Some of these principles include not comparing yourself to other people. Comparison is the death or thief of joy, and all too often on social media, you're comparing yourself to all the other agents that are posting on there, and genuinely most of them are actually broke, not doing any deals. They just post great content, which makes it look like they're absolutely crushing it. But you want to make sure that on social media, you're not comparing yourself. Additionally, not getting focused on the vanity metrics. Your followers, your subscribers, your likes, all of that does not matter in the beginning. It honestly never really matters. And what I mean by that is I always see agents saying, well, I'm going to start putting out great content once I get 1,000 followers or 1,000 subscribers or whatever. But if you don't treat the 312 followers like they matter, you'll never get to 1,000. You have to understand that the followers are actually people. These are people that have raised their hand and say that they want to follow you. They want to follow your journey. They want to be a part of it, and they want to see more. So treat them that way, because the only way you're ever going to be able to grow a large following is if you pour into the people with value that you already have, which is going to lead to them engaging more, sharing more, and thus bringing more people to your social media platforms. Lastly, when it comes to mindset, you really need to make sure to embrace delayed gratification. A lot of times people are looking for immediate success. They're looking for the perfect post that's going to get clients. But ultimately, the consistent execution for a long period of time is what's going to allow you to see the fruit of your labor. It's kind of like that meme that you're probably familiar with, which is the person digging for a diamond and one turns away right before they hit the diamond and the other continues to push through and ends up hitting the diamond and getting what they were hoping for. The same thing comes with social media. If you can extend the time horizon for which you're expecting results for long enough, you will see success. Let me explain. If you're going in with the mentality of I'm going to post consistently on YouTube every single month for 3 months, and if I don't get a client, it's not for me. This is what happens all the time. Well, that's because you've set your frame of reference so short, so associated with immediate gratification that, of course, if you don't hit it in 3 months, you're going to be disappointed. But what happens if you extended your expectations to a year? Well, now, if you're thinking, I'm going to do this for 1 year, if you don't hit that milestone, if you don't get that client by the third month, you're not going to be disappointed because you said you were going to do it for a year. If you extend it for 10 years, like I did when I got started, I said, I'm going to do this forever because I understand the importance of it. I've never been disappointed about not getting certain tangible results or clients coming to me from my content after a certain period of time, because my time horizon is so far that if I don't get somebody in 3 months, then who cares? I've got 10 years to go. So it's really important to first go in with the right mindset, because that is going to be the foundation for everything. Number 2 is not making it a priority. Your schedule will show you your priorities, and every time I see somebody that's struggling with social media, I will ask them to pull up their calendar and say, show me where you've got time blocked off every single week for creating content, or planning for content or recording or editing or whatever. And every single time I see somebody struggling with it, they cannot show it to me. Right now, it's a Saturday. I batch my YouTube videos every Saturday. It does not matter. I'm not meeting with anybody. It doesn't matter if my friends invite me out. Saturday is my recording time. And that's how I've been able to be consistent, because to me, it's a priority. And if you're negotiating with yourself, because again, everything is a choice and you choose whether to do it or whether not to do it. And all too often people are treating social media as a negotiable where either A, they don't block it off and they do it when they feel like it, which by the way, you never feel like it, or they block it off and then they negotiate it. They block it off and then suddenly a lender calls them or a title rep calls them or a friend calls them and they're like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want to do social media content right now because recording sucks. So I'm going to go out and do something fun. And that consistently compounds to make sure that you never see success with social media. You have to understand that social media is the modern way of prospecting. Consumer behavior is changing, and social media is where people are finding real estate agents. So you need to treat it with the discipline and consistency and making it a priority the same way you should with prospecting or any other form of lead generation. Number 3 is not following a blueprint. If you want my social media blueprint that is proven to help agents close 5+ deals per month every single month consistently with clients coming directly to them, and has helped brand new agents do 6 to 7 figures in GCI in their first year with clients coming directly to them, drop a comment below and just say free training and I'll give it to you. But it's really important to follow a proven blueprint so that you're on the path to success that is proven. Every time I've seen somebody succeed, they are following a blueprint, whether it be cold calling. The ones that win are the ones that are following scripts that have worked for other people. When it comes to door knocking, they are following scripts that have worked for other people. When it comes to social media, you need to follow a proven blueprint that has worked for other people. There's no point in reinventing the wheel because everything that could be done has already been done, and people have already proven what works across all different market centers and all different personality types. So instead of wasting a ton of time trying to figure out what works or reinventing the wheel, doing something innovative, just understand that number 1, you never will, and number 2, it's not even worth the time because you could just go on the proven path to success from day 1, and if you consistently follow it, you will see results. Number 4 comes down to inconsistent branding. This is important because clients are going to vet and audit you across multiple different channels. So I see this with a lot of the agents in my organization at EXP that are crushing it on social media, getting my help personally. And if you want to know about getting my help directly one-on-one, just look at the link in the description and you could book a call with me about that. But when we look at some of the examples, we've got a lot of agents that are crushing it on TikTok, and people are finding these agents on TikTok, but then validating them on YouTube, or finding them on Instagram and validating them on TikTok or Facebook. It's really important that your branding is consistent across all social media platforms and that you don't have this incredible content on one and then you're ignoring all the others, or your branding looks terrible on all the others, because people will go find you, and your social media presence is an extension of your brand, and your brand is an extension of your quality of work. So you want to make sure that no matter where people find you, they're going to see the same level of quality, and that quality is going to be in complete alignment with the quality of work that you would do when working with them. Number 6 is going to be inauthentic content. Now, yes, I always talk about R&D or rip off and duplicate, but there is a caveat to that. Yes, you want to find people that you like, you admire, that are role models to you, you really resonate with their content, and you want to use that as a bit of a go-by or a blueprint so that you can use it as a reference point for creating your own content. However, you want to put your own spin on it. Where a lot of people go wrong and why they struggle to be consistent is because they're not enjoying the process because of the fact that they're trying to be somebody else instead of being themselves. Nobody can be a better version of you than you because you're one of like 8 billion. There's only one you, and that is your superpower. So your authenticity, your transparency, and how genuine you come across is going to be what allows people to connect you with. But all too often, people are trying to be somebody else. And if you come across one way on social media and then in person you're a little bit different, that discrepancy is going to push a lot of people away. So it's important to, yes, use other people as a bit of a reference and use it as inspiration, but you have to make sure that you rip off, duplicate, and make it better with your own spin on it. Number 7 is one near and dear to my heart that has made the biggest difference, which is being unbiased. This one key concept can completely change the course of your career forever, and honestly is what allowed me to 10x my lead generation conversion just by applying this one simple principle, which is the concept of being unbiased. So many people are biased when it comes to their social media content, where they think just because they have put something out that other people should just naturally engage with it. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say I'm going to post some sort of short form video on, maybe TikTok or Instagram Reels, for example. Well, what too many people do is they just post it and make that assumption that everybody should be engaging with them. What I want you to start doing is before you click post, you want to make sure to audit it and say, if I wasn't me, if I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I've achieved, what I've done, who I am, I've never come across me at all. If this post landed in front of me, would I like it? Would I go so far as to comment on it? Would I share it with anybody or save it? And would I even go to your profile and subscribe to you or follow you? And what you'll see oftentimes is you wouldn't even engage with your own content. So just because you were putting it out, you can't make the assumption that everybody should just engage with it. If you wouldn't engage with your own content, how can you expect other people to do that as well? So when you can get to the point where you would say, hey, this video is entertaining enough or valuable enough or educational enough, I would like that. I would share it on my story. I'd share it with a friend. I'd save it. I'd even follow because I want to see more. That's when you're going to start increasing your following, because what you need to understand is to grow your following on social media, that by definition is growing by people who do not know you. So your posts have to land in front of people that don't know you in any way, shape, or form and make the decision to follow you. Well, the only way that they will ever do that is if it's good enough to actually excite that engagement, not just because they know who you are, they know how valuable you are, and they've made all these assumptions. No assumptions can be made because they don't know who the heck you are, and that's why it's really important to audit every single piece of content that you put out there and use that litmus test to say, would I even engage with it? That perfectly segues into number 8, which is ignoring engagement. It is so important to engage with other people because if you're not engaging back with them, they're not going to continue to engage. And this is not just engaging with the people that are engaging on your posts and replying to comments and things like that, but engaging with other people. Look at hashtags, for example, related to your city and your market, and go engage with a few other people and start to get them to understand who you are. It's really important that you are engaging and leveraging these platforms to build connections, because ultimately that's the beauty of social media, is it allows you to create conversations at scale, and it allows you to create engagement with people in your local market center that otherwise would not have heard about you. So look up hashtags related to communities that you want to farm or to your city in general, and just take a bit of time every day to drop some sort of positive comment on a bunch of people's posts, but make sure that it's an authentic form of engagement. Make sure you're not just putting emojis, but actually write something that makes sense based on the post. But engagement is going to be really important because that's going to stir up conversations, it's going to keep you top of mind, and it's going to show that you're actually listening to your audience for those who are engaging with you. And also it's going to make sure that people in your local market start to find out about you, because if somebody I don't know drops a comment on one of my posts, I will go look and see who they are. And if they see that you're a realtor, well, now they know that there's somebody they can work with. Number 9 is poor quality. This is so important when it comes to social media. Poor quality of value, poor quality of image. And that's what I want to get a point across, is that it's not just the quality of the content in terms of, the high quality video professional equipment, it's the quality of the value. You can't turn your Instagram profile into a homes and land magazine with a bunch of silly Canva templates just to post, just to say that you're consistent. If people can't engage with you, they will never work with you. The goal with social media is to get people to like, know, and trust you. And if they're not building a rapport with you because you're posting all these stock images that you've downloaded off Canva, well, they're never going to build a connection with you, and thus they're never going to reach out. You could be consistent for the next 10 years and still never get a client if you're just posting Canva graphics. Also, if you're just posting photos of homes, there's no way people can get to know you. You need to understand the 80-20 rule and know that 80% of the content needs to have you in it. You need to be the one that is building the brand, and people need to get a better understanding of who you are, which is why it's so important to show your lifestyle, show your hobbies and passions and what you're into, because that's going to allow people to connect with you emotionally, and that will make them feel like they know you, and thus they're going to reach out. Number 10 is ignoring the data. What gets measured gets managed. Once you start looking at the data, which can be found on any social media platform, this allows you to look at the engagement. You can start to look and see which posts or videos are performing the best, which are performing the worst, and you can double down on the ones that are working and dial back on the ones that are not. But all too often, people are throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, and then they're just posting based on assumption, not based on data. So they're posting all this content that really doesn't engage with people, when they could have been doubling down on content that is proven to engage with people based on their analytics. So it's really important on a monthly basis at least to go through your insights on Instagram, go through the data and the analytics on YouTube and TikTok or any other social platform, and look at what's working, what's not, and what can you do to audit that and make tweaks every single month so that month over month you're always improving. Number 11 finally is going to be having an all or nothing mentality and not understanding a floor and a ceiling. Let me explain this really important concept. So where a lot of agents go wrong is they say, well, I'm going to be posting 3 times a week on short form and 2 YouTube videos a week, which is great. That's the blueprint that you should be following. And what happens is they take an all or nothing mentality where they either go all in or they do nothing, and they break momentum. So they'll have a couple of weeks where they do their 3 short form and their 2 long form, and then 1 week things hit the fan, clients are going crazy, all kinds of deals falling apart, and they get overwhelmed, and then they don't record anything. And what happens is it breaks momentum, and then they go a couple of weeks without posting anything at all, breaking the momentum they just spent weeks building. What you need to do is have a floor and a ceiling. And a ceiling is what you're going to do on a weekly basis if everything is perfect or ideal. And that's what you want to strive for. What happens with most people is if you don't operate at the ceiling, you just throw everything out the window and you do nothing at all. Whereas you could say, okay, this week is absolutely crazy. I can't do my 3 short form and my 2 long form. If you have a floor of doing 1 long form and 1 short form, at least you keep the momentum going. So let me give you an example of driving a car down the highway. If you're driving a car down the highway at 100 kilometers an hour, and what happens sometimes is people, again, things get crazy in business and they pump the brakes and they go back down to like 20 kilometers an hour. Well, the time and energy it's going to take for you to get that car back up to 100 kilometers an hour is astronomical compared to what it would take if you just dip down to 90 or 80 and then get back to 100. So what you want to do is by identifying that floor, which is come hell or high water, the bare minimum you're going to commit to, what that's going to do is make sure that when things go sideways, which they will, you're not going to break momentum and burn all of the hard work that you've been putting in to your social media content. So those are the things that I constantly see people doing wrong. If you have any other questions, drop a comment below. And if you do want to know the blueprint of how to leverage social media, just check out this next video here. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.